Hey, what's going on? How are you, Jesse?
Hey, what's going on?
Okay, sorry, I was just checking to make sure my audio was coming through okay. Can you hear me okay? How's my audio? Hi, how's it going, Silver? Popping on a little early here. Awesome. Hey, nerds. Hey, hey. All right, cool. This is my Rode Mic Pro. I've definitely done some live streaming before, but it's been a hot minute since I have. So, hi, Juan. I'm fantastic. How are you doing? Hey, Cerulean. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Van. What's going on? Hopefully, you guys can see me okay. This is my home office setup. So, guys, this is weird because I'm like looking at myself on Twitch while also looking at. I know, right? Long time no see, Cerulean. And you too, Van. Hey, Marinicom. How are you? We might try to. Okay, so I like listening to music a lot, so I'm gonna try to turn this on. I don't know if you guys will like. Tell me if you can hear this, and if it's like super distracting. Um, I'm gonna turn on Spotify. I don't know. I should probably just stream the music that I'm streaming to you guys, but honestly, I'm not sure how. So, can you guys hear? Okay. Okay. Does it sound okay, Jazzy? Because I don't want to be. I don't want it to be like. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. It's pretty loud for me, so um, as long as it's not like bothersome to you guys or making like a bad, you know what I mean, like echo or anything like that, then I'm cool. Just gonna turn on a little lo-fi. Um, as long as I'm louder than the music. All right, good, good, good. Um, cool. Well, hey, gang. One renegade. That is so nice of you to say. I appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, hey, Faye. One. That's an amazing thing of you to say. I appreciate you. I think I was talking to somebody at Gen Con, and I was like, actually, I think it was you, Cerulean. I think it was Cerulean. And one of the things that I was just talking about was that, like, all of us kind of learn from one another. I myself learned to DM from some really amazing GMs over the years, and so it's really cool that we're in a community where we can all like inspire one another and um, all that fun stuff. So I'm really glad to hear that my DM style has even if it's sparked ideas. That's really really fun. I love that. So Cerulean, yeah, it was definitely you. Yeah, and then Van, I know you were standing there as well. So, um, yeah, I mean, welcome to the stream tonight, guys. It's gonna be pretty low key. It's just me, we figured a lot of the crew is a little bit. We just got back from Gen Con. A lot of the team got back very late last night. I had to come back a little bit earlier for a whole bunch of reasons, but left yesterday. So Jazzy, me too. That's gonna be a fun day. Really excited and looking forward for you to be able to make it. But yeah, a lot of the crew's busy tonight, and one of the things also, Shane and Rebecca pretty much always run the stream. I think Russ has done it a handful of times, but I wanted to Gen Con. That's right, Russ. Oh, hi, Russ. Um, secrets, man. I don't know that I have secrets. I'm just kidding. I do have a lot of secrets. But yeah, so tonight's stream is basically just about like, if you guys have questions about Elbor, about DMing in general, like it's an ask me anything. That's the point. So, anything you guys want to ask, I will try to keep track of everything. I do have a lot of secrets. Um, yeah. After folding Amberstone like an omelet, dude, Flynn friggin' did some incredible things in that fight. Russ did some incredible things in that fight. It was pretty gnarly. So, um, just so you guys know, I mean, I'm like eating dinner kind of. So like, I'm sorry if that weirds you out that I have to like eat, but I might eat a little bit while we're doing this. Um, so yeah. Um, I mean, I guess, yeah, we love our Scholar's Rest. Food is important. Unfortunately, sometimes I wish I didn't have to eat. Like, I like eating, but I wish I could choose. You know what I mean? It would be really cool if I could choose to not eat. Like, if I was like, you know what, I'm just too busy today, and like, I don't know, flip a switch or something like that, and just not be able to. Dinner tonight is tri-tip, risotto, and some asparagus. And it's pretty tasty. Ooh, lasagna and garlic bread? Yo. Sorry, I'm gross. Ooh, man. The most okay, we got our first question from Don't Know What I Am Doing. Me neither. Don't know what I'm doing. Okay, good question. Interesting NPC I've ever created or seen. Fumduck. Oh, man. The most interesting one I think I've created. Fumduck is a very interesting one. Fumduck is a very interesting one. Mateo is a very interesting one. You know, there are a lot of NPCs that I've made that like I came up with a lot for, that, you know, we just never got to because for many a reason, right? It is a great dinner. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, man, one of the most interesting, one of my favorite NPCs that I encountered as a player. And he was just my favorite. It was actually a game that Russ and I were in together. And we had his name was, Jiminy Phil Willery, and he was a gnome. And, I was playing a Blade Singer wizard in that campaign, who is probably one of my top 3 favorite PCs I've ever created. And we just loved Jiminy Phil Willery. He was like our initial quest giver. In the campaign, like he was the first guy. So my naming conventions for gnomes and how they all have like different, you know, like kind of goofy names is from the DM who named that. He loved gnomes, and so he named them all you know, silly names. Like he played a gnome named Igilby McGilby, and I just loved that. But yeah, Jiminy Phil Willery was like a wizard who like ran shops. So he was like a wizard and a businessman. He was a transmuter, and I adored him. Like, he let me in. So he was like our initial quest giver. And then eventually he became, basically sponsored my wizard entering into, like a secret society of wizards, because they didn't have a blade singer in the group. And that gave me access to this network of wizards that were like in cities all throughout. So there was one for basically each major wizard subclass, except for Chronergy. I don't think we had a Chronergy wizard in the organization. You know, so every time I'd go to a city, if one of them was there, I could go into their shop and I'd automatically get like 200 gold pieces worth of ink and paper. Like they would just hand it to me. They'd be like, "Hey, Sonny," and they'd hand it over. And that was really cool. But Jiminy, I think at one point my character's backstory basically endangered him, because I was a Shadar Kai, and I had a lot of Shadar Kai looking for me. And so they tried to attack him, and we like teleported across the country to go save him, and it was really fun. So yeah, Kit Clevercleave is a fascinating one. I don't think we've seen the last of Kit Clevercleave. Brooke! Hi, Brooke! Look at you! Chronergy is overrated. Lies! Ban, you summoned them. You summoned Brooke. What's your personal goopy void like? Oh, my personal goopy void like. That's a good one, Faye. Man, my personal goopy void. Okay, so it's definitely not a void. Shane just went hard on that for Wrestler. He did. Yeah, Kit Clevercleave might very well outlive us all, but we have not seen the last of them. They will return. My personal goopy void. Gosh, I think my personal goopy void is like a tower in the mountains. I think that like I'd make it illusory, so that it was basically like a big giant. It would be like the central platform would be like an open air platform. Actually, okay, if anybody is familiar with Dragon Ball Z, what's it called? The tower that like the Namek people. Oh God, is that, I forget his name. It's been a long time, but that like white thing, and it's like a flat platform and it's way up in the sky. It'd be like that, but like maybe more like neoclassical Roman architecture, like marble and lots of like, open air windows, but they would all look out. It would be like up in the mountains somewhere. I would either use it illusorily or it would just exist in a physical demi-plane that was like mountainous views. Like I want to see streams and coniferous pine trees and like cold air. That would be my personal goopy void. I think I love the mountains. I'm a mountains and lakes over ocean person. I like the beach. I live near the beach, but I just love like the mountains and all that fun stuff. So that would be my personal goopy void. Oh, thanks, Faye. Yeah, I love the mountains. I just, yeah. One of my favorite hikes I've ever done was up in the Sierras here, and it was at a place called the Ray Lakes Loop, and it was really, really pretty. There's a fun picture of me on my Instagram up there, and it was just gorgeous. It was like, snow melt lakes at the top of these mountains with all these trees, and I just thought it was beautiful. So that would be my my personal goopy void. Yeah, I'm a forest over beach guy for sure. Like my dream, favorite twist the AOR pulled on you and vice versa. Another question from Silver. What was one of your favorite twists the AOR pulled on you and vice versa, a favorite twist you pulled on them? Good question. Okay. I think, man, one of the favorites they pulled on me, I think I mentioned this not too recently, but one of the most interesting, it wasn't technically like on me, but Kellic sparing Artemisia. Also, I'm sure everybody here is caught up, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But Kellic sparing Artemisia like really accelerated the timeline of me revealing some of the backstory of Elbor and the nature of the cyclical nature of Elbor, because Ethan handed that over to me, and that was Ethan's original conception. I did make some tweaks, but yeah, that was like, I was like, oh wow, like I was trying to figure out how to do it, and then he did that right. That was the last session before I took over as the GM. And so I was like, oh my God, now I have to like cement all of this lore that I thought I was going to have a lot more time to reveal. The Addersfeld fight was a wild one. Yeah. I mean, that whole series of events of them getting into that keep where the breacher bombs were held, like that series of rolls was bananas. Absolutely bananas. I could never have envisioned them talking their way through all of those problems. That was wild. And my favorite twist that I pulled on them, it had to have been the Fatal Reserve. Seeing the look on everybody's faces was pretty wild when I stabbed Salix. And then of course the additional double whammy of them not realizing until like partway through the fight that they weren't fighting the actual Fatal Reserve. And I had seeded all of that, like the polymorph potion and, or, the potions of polymorph and all that. And, I was like, ooh, it would be, cause Vossen was a brilliant tactician. So I was like, well, what would he do? And I was like, it's a feint within a feint within a feint. So it wouldn't be them disguising themselves as other people. It would be him having normal soldiers disguise themselves as the Fatal Reserve to like lead people astray. Big red herring. So that was maybe one of my favorite twists I've ever pulled on them. I think. Befriending Iron, that was nuts. That was nuts. Tin Cup Rager. What was the hardest, most exciting part of coming into the campaign? Hardest was talk about drinking from a fire hose. Like I knew of Venture Forth. I was of course familiar with Venture Forth because I was friends with everybody, but ironically, I don't consume a ton of actual play content. And so coming into it, I had to catch up. I was like, oh my God, I have all of this lore to catch up on. And the timeline got accelerated a little bit because of some things in Ethan's own life. So I wasn't supposed to take over for like another, I don't think I was supposed to take over originally until like mid-September. And I ended up taking over like right at the beginning of August. So that increased the acceleration of that timeline too. And so, yeah, that was pretty gnarly. But it was really exciting because I inherited this world. And one of the benefits of Ethan's style was that he really had not his style was very like kind of as you go in a lot of respects. He put a lot of thought into things and the overall concept, but he didn't like really like nail down a ton, which was wonderful for me because it made sure that I had plenty of room to ideate and create. So that was, the hardest part was was doing that, and like catching up and just trying to get up to speed, and then of course like learning the characters, and then figuring out also like, you know, where we were in the story and where I wanted to take it to next, because it was kind of, you know, we were in this kind of in between arcs, so to speak. And so, and I like structuring my campaigns in terms of arcs. So, and I knew, you know, I was like, okay, immediately Olma, right? I can resolve a lot with her, since we were close to the monastery. And that was part of the reason why I introduced Brim as an NPC, was to like pull the party toward the monastery, and then, you know, keep things going from there. And then I knew I wanted to introduce you know, get them into major power broker decisions. And so that was what led to the Stillgate arc. And then from there it was Shane's M-Core led to the Addersfeld arc. And so that was it kind of happened really fun. In that array. Will we see some of your missed arcs in future campaigns, like where AOR took things in a direction away from something you fleshed out? I mean, you know, they were really good about, I mean, the AOR cast is so good about pulling the lever. Salix, my beloved. Sorry, I'm like trying to keep up and see all of these, but, the missed arcs in the future. I mean, yeah, there's plenty that I built. I mean, there are whole swaths of Stillgate, of Westreach that are pretty fleshed out and developed that we just really didn't get to see. You know, I have a lot of writing on those cities and those places. And so, you know, the one area that we didn't get to a lot was Kaldur. I wanted to go there, but I just, you know, with coming in and trying to land the plane, so to speak, and get the campaign to a satisfactory ending. I knew I only had so many. So, you know, at some point I want to play a little bit in Kaldur. That would be a lot of fun. But definitely, I mean, there will be more, discoveries inside of Stillgate and Westreach and all those different places. So yeah, the Fatal Reserve is my favorite arc. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. Sorry. I'm trying to catch up. Good thing for Harken Backs. I know, right? Oh man. Yeah, between you and me, I know there are for sure episodes of the show I actually haven't listened to in full because I had to like jump around so much, and thank God for Shane and his like crazy memory and the harken backs, because then I got to like identify bits of information that were relevant because they were canon that knew I was going to have to like reference. But they're like somewhere in the shuffle. I know there are like a handful of episodes that I've actually never listened to, which is horrible. But I was like trying so hard to like world build and move forward that there are definitely some episodes I missed. So I'm on my own, like full taking my time, catch up and walk through. But all right, Bromar here. I have a question. I've wondered since first live show announcement and coming off Gen Con, group's decision to make live shows canon, especially since my experience, most of the other actual play podcasts do live shows that are non-canon. Wow. That's a great question. I think we decided after when we first got into Comic-Con, we were like, we really wanted to do something canon because we thought that was fun. And honestly though, like for my part, I think, we all feel pretty strongly about that. Now, it may not be canonical to the main campaign that we're ever pursuing. You know what I mean? And so that might be, oh geez, I totally lost my train of thought because I just saw Alstro's question. But yeah, I mean, I think we're going to endeavor to try to make sure that all of our one-shots do have some form of canonical impact on the world of Elbor. Because there's so much world to build, and that's really fun. So I think hopefully that answers your question, Roman. Job but especially with that time crunch. Oh, thanks, Faye. Jazzy, yeah. Jazzy, what was the question from Jazzy? All hail the... Oh, stop it. You guys are way too nice to me. It seemed really smoothly executed, but I can't imagine the work that went in behind the scenes. Yeah, it was a lot. It was pretty intense. Yeah, I mean, more of the Crownlink crew, all of that stuff will definitely be in the works. There are elements and different things. We have some things coming up that I think will be fun for you guys to listen to. Yeah, lots of exciting things. Okay, Alstro, next question. Sorry, I think I'm, okay, I already got to Jazzy's. Good. Trying to keep up here. Do I know what the rest of the planet thought of the giant Elbor-shaped hole in the world while Elbor was bubbled? Will it become relevant in future campaigns? Yes, it will certainly become relevant. I do know what the rest of the world thought. I think I can say without spoiling anything that the original idea. What I'll say is this: the original idea for Elbor being this sealed away thing. That was not part of Ethan's plan. That was something that I decided upon after the cyclical nature, because I was like, well, why? Right? I kept finding myself asking that question. Well, what is the nature of it? Why? What's the mechanism? Why? What's the catalyst behind a decision like that? And I came up with that concept as I was thinking about the Arthurian legends of Avalon, and this kind of land that like existed kind of separately. And so that was kind of the idea for it. So that's all I'll say as far as like what the people of Verestra might think. Yeah, it was a lot of me kind of trying to figure out like what the inciting incident for Elbor's creation would be. I mean, outside of just like, oh, they made it. It's like, well, but like, what would lead to this element of a cyclical nature, right? Why would it be Why would it be necessary? And so that's what I ended up coming up with. All right. Don't know what I'm doing. I love reading that username because it reminds me every time. My favorite AOR moment. Good God, that's hard. Man, I have favorite moments of, I mean, it's so hard. That's like asking to pick your favorite kid, you know? My favorite AOR moment, I mean, there's so many. I loved Flynn's chat with his parents. One of my favorite scenes to ever do were, you know, Salix and Thessaly. Oma and Griff is one of my favorite scenes. Kellic and his mother, despite it being fraught with tension. It was very difficult for me, but the you know, Zami and Seeker and that whole interaction was really really difficult, but really fun and very rewarding in so many ways. I loved playing Luca. He's a guy that I would be curious to explore more because he's super badass, and he's a really cool guy. And you know, Luca, the dealer, they call him the dealer, and I think that's a really cool, just like mythology around him. He's also pretty badass. I had a stat block for him just in case. I tend to have stat blocks for most things because I never know when the players are gonna flip a table and start swinging. But he was a really cool guy. So yeah, sorry, trying to keep up here, guys. Is there anything about personal character arcs you wished you got to flesh out more, or had more of a like spotlight moment in the story? One thing I would have wished we would have gotten more time to do, and I actually talked about this with Rodney, was I really would have loved to explore and get to meet Seeker's family. But I talked a lot about it with Rodney, and you know, we decided that it would be something that we could explore later, explore in some other format. But it just, you know, with the way that the end of the campaign shaped up, we just really couldn't get there and have it make sense. And I spent a lot of time trying to make it work, but we just unfortunately couldn't make it happen. But his grandmother, Seeker's grandmother, is such a fascinating character to me, because of the way that Rodney wrote her, and I would love to meet her someday. So. I will say as a viewer, I much prefer knowing what I'm watching is like really happening, even if they are side characters, which is super duper fun. Yes, I agree, Roman. We love, you know, again, making sure that everything that we do has an impact, you know, like we like to tell stories, and the more we build out Elbor, we think the more it will come to, you know, we just living in such a fleshed out world is really fun. All right. Thank you, Texas, for the flowers comment. That's lovely. So freaking stoked. My brain is just going exclamate. Oh, that's funny. But it makes so much sense post Thalnora's story about the bubble they create. Yes. First mother becoming very, very relevant, methinks. Maybe. That could be something that we explore in the future. I know, you know, conceptually what the first mother is. So I'm very excited about that. The whole campaign. I'm back. Had to take a couple of calls. All good. Favorite moment? Yes. Salix, my beloved, part 2. Salix is great. Oma and Griff, I also cried. Those were real tears. Your portrayal of Salix during this first conversation was stunning. I'm still thinking, thank you. Yeah, that was a character that I really connected to. I think a combination of, again, being a brother, a younger brother myself. You know, I have an older sister and I have a younger sister. And so, you know, thinking about Salix and his sense of duty and why he did the things that he did, was pretty easy for me to tap into. And I think that's why it all came through. And then Devin, of course, wrote an incredible character there. So, are there any plans on the campaign becoming a purchasable product? Good question. Oh man, I really hope so. I really hope to do something one day. It is a dream of mine. I can't promise anything. I have no idea about timeline or any of that, but it would be something I'd be very interested in doing, like super, super interested in doing. So yeah. That's all I'll say there. That's all I think I can say, but it is a big, it would be lovely. It would be lovely. And it would tick a big bucket list item off for me. Um, you play a damn good villain. Thank you. I like villains. I do like them. They're a lot of fun to play. It's interesting to try to get in the head of a villain and like how they think. A funny AOR moment that stands out to you, man. Funny like haha. Seeker and Flynn. I mean, all of them. God, they all always get me. A funny moment that stands out, I think, like from the most recent episode, one of the moments that was so innocuous is it was actually a clip we put out recently, was like when Drennick came back in his like War Eagle form, and Seeker was like, that was a pretty bird, and then Kellic was like, that was Drennick, right? And then Seeker was like, yeah. Seth was like, what, are you lying? Because it was just so funny, and it made me howl with laughter, so that was really, really, really funny. Just think about all those dinosaurs. Yeah. Just imagine how many more veterans there will be for the Bright Gear Academy now that the war is over. Yeah, for sure. For sure. The RPG publishing world is tough, but so fun. Agreed. Will we see more from our previous PCs, even just making a quick cameo? I mean, I subscribe to the idea that, I really want our second campaign to stand on its own two legs. I want it to really focus on a new set of characters, a new set of circumstances, a new story to tell. But, I'm also not going to force, I'm not going to force it, but I'm also not going to avoid it like the plague. If it makes sense, maybe, it's very possible. So, that's all I'll say. Of course, I would love to make sure that, the PCs get cameos, even just tangentially, even if it's a first degree of separation to kind of a thing. It would be a lot of fun. So many sibling moments in the wastes. Yes. Between Kellic Flynn and Olma. So many great siblings moments. Speaking of a purchasable, anyway, speaking of purchasable products, when the heck we getting those awesome mugs that y'all had? Oh, I don't know. Those were handmade. Those were handmade. So maybe someday. What are you excited for about starting a campaign with VF for the first time? Oh man, I'm excited to get the opportunity to, work with all the players from day one. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to, like, from the moment of inception of their characters, be able to like craft and discover the arcs that they want to explore within their characters. I'm also really excited. One of my favorite things to do as a GM is I love like what I call like companion world building. I really like the idea that, like, when you create a PC in my world, that, you get to own kind of the area they're from in a lot of respects, and like their backstory. So that way, like, you feel really anchored and really connected. Like, if someone was like, I'm from this city, or I want to be from this part of the world, and I go, I don't have a lot there right now. I just have like this is the overarching concept. And then I get to go, let's flesh it out, right? So we're going to build the town together. We're going to build NPCs together. We're going to like explore, history of the location and the region, and like colloquialisms and culture. Because I really want it to be that, like, in an ideal world, if I create a character at the table, if I help a PC at the table create their character, if we ever go to their hometown or the region they're from, I have to do like minimal exposition, like minimal, and we get to do all of it through character. Like, if I could have, right, and it was just hard because I was creating so much of the world in real time, but like in an ideal world, right, I would have had to say next to nothing in Westreach, right, about the city, because Seeker would have been able to just tell them. And I could have talked with Rodney and been like, hey, make sure you mention this because it's fun. But yeah, that's what I'm really excited for, is really to make sure that the characters are anchored in the world. What are you excited? Okay, so that's that. Haha. Rodney killed us all with that. Yeah. Well, maybe I'm just a better fighter than you. Had me cackling. Same. I've said it on I've said it on TikTok, Discord. I'll say it again here. You guys ruined other actual please. Oh, that's the nicest thing to say, Mr. Blue. Thank you so much. Hayfried's a goat. He's the best. What's your favorite enemy or monster? Okay, question from Van. What's your favorite enemy or monster or boss mechanic that the AOR have had to encounter? Good one. I loved the Seal Predator encounter. That was one of my favorite encounters around because I just love seeing everybody sweat. I loved the Horde Golem encounter in the vaults under the Sacred Octagon. That was fun, pretty fun. Man, the Vossen fight was really fun. The Fatal Reserve fight was really fun, just because it was so unpredictable. I am mad though. Vossen did not perform as expected. I just rolled really poorly for him, and I really wanted him to be a little scarier. Like I wanted him to down a character really bad. But the AOR played it so well, like so well. So not a lot I could do there. And he just sucked. His roll sucked. I'd be curious, like, what are your guys' favorite moments though, or enemy? Like, I've ran a lot of encounters. What were some of your guys' favorite? Drop them in chat. I'd love to know like what you guys enjoyed as audience members, because like I have the ones that I enjoy, but they might be very different from your guys's, right? So yeah, it was a delightful piece of asparagus, Faye. What's your favorite? Okay. Stood out to me, and what made me want to follow the Aaron Jinn was when Kellic had the world flipping idea of calling his rel to the Temple of Amir. That was insane. I remember I listened to that multiple times. That clip, because it felt like such a character defining moment for Kellic. And so I've listened to that clip from the show a lot of times. Because yeah, it was a huge character defining moment, right? And it led to what I then later did with Kellic, which was like giving him 2 domains, which a lot of people would say is wildly unbalanced and insane. But like I just felt like pretty strongly, one, I love overpowered PCs. I just like it. I do it. Obviously, you guys have seen me, like I give them busted shit, and they get really customized features, because like I as a player love, within reason. I like, mechanical, I like giving more options, especially that are based and rooted in character decisions. So I really liked that moment from Kellic, and it led to a mechanical boon much later in the game when it was appropriate, I think, for the level of play. But it was just really cool. To have, and I needed the old gods to start making more of their presence known, so that the final moment, the ending of the campaign had the impact and the gravitas that I wanted it to. So I knew I had to like, and also, Shane is just such a fucking brilliant role player, that all he said was like, and it was funny. This is a little peek behind the screen. Shane and I had this discussion, and he was like, he kind of asked about, Famir, and I just confided in him, and I was like, you know what? You've done so much like building of lore around here. Like I'm kind of intimidated by it. Like I was a little afraid, I think, to really like show Famir and step into her, because I was like, I don't know if I know her well enough. And I was just a little trepidatious about it for some reason. And Shane was like, dude, I trust you. Go nuts. I was like, all right, cool. And then I was like, bet, which was a lovely conversation to have. And then he was like, hey, by the way, I'm going to go to the Temple of Famir while we're on Westreach. And I was like, so I knew I wanted that, a good moment to come. And then it was so, and I write certain little snippets. I don't like write out a lot. I write maybe like a couple little like inciting lines to set things up. And then after that, I just let the role play take it where it's going to take it. So that was awesome. Sorry, I'm catching up here. As I've stated, as long as I have the VF cast and a great campaign, I'm a happy nerd. What did Shane hand make? I don't know what Shane hand made. We get them. Oh yeah, he made them. Bless hat. Now you tell me those mugs were handmade. They were handmade. Yeah. I think they spray painted them. So these guys have spoiled me. I love having a piece of media that I take time for to sit and listen. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you guys like the show as much as you do. It's so wonderful. And we put a lot of effort into it. And so it's really validating to hear that you guys enjoy it as much as you do. So thank you all for the compliments. It's lovely. If I can say what was really going on behind the Sade's office. Ooh. I did reveal this to the cast. But just so they had some context for it. And it had to do with what Thessaly was doing in some respects. I will confirm it involved mind flares. That's all. I think that's all I can actually say. That was actually an arc that I had planned out that we just didn't get to. So I had intended to reveal all of that, but again, because of decisions that were made in the way that the campaign progressed, we just never got to it. So I think I'll keep that for myself. I hope to answer that question one day, though. In game if possible, but definitely hope to answer it one day. Yes, yes, yes. Favorite homebrew rule. I love our crit rules. I love our crit rules. Those are really good. I also like most of the specifically Rebecca and Russ both are using both used I should say homebrewed versions of the Eldritch Knight and the Sorcerer that I tweaked in my own just like for my own games. I have my own YouTube channel where I do some like reworking of some different classes like the Ranger, the Monk, because I love those. Um, so they both use homebrewed versions of their classes, like the fact that like I think sorcerers should get sorcery points back on short rest, and I think in 2024 rules I think they actually did add that. So they are so yeah they both use some homebrew things, and I think it brought them it gave them a nice little power boost that I liked, and I feel it was pretty balanced. Homebrew rules I like. I like our resurrection rules because I think that death should matter no matter what. Even in a world where revivify and raise dead is possible, there's still a chance it should fail, in my opinion, because otherwise the stakes go away. And so yeah, will the giant brain be explained? It will, I think. I may have to do another one of these and chat a little bit with some folks to see how we feel about revealing that. But yes, yeah, that's all I can say there. I'm sorry. All right. The dice wanted to tell a story. Vossen was so just catching up. Jazzy. Vossen was so scary. My heart couldn't have taken that going better. Mine could have. They were fine. The Barrett Hastel fights, yeah, those were pretty solid. I know those were big and very exciting to listen to as an audience member. The Sacred Octagon Gauntlet was a great test of mechanics. Yeah, it was. I made all that up, which was super fun. It was a really fun. I loved the idea of like what happens to a temple of magic in a place like the most powerful temple of magic in the known world, in a place where magic has gone awry, and in addition to that, where a lich has like messed with stuff. You know what I mean? Because Corvin, had been there for some time. I mean, not the whole time, but super. He'd messed with some stuff in there. Tweaked it to his own purposes to make sure nobody wandered in there too far. So. I kind of liked that Voss gave a jump in straight up combat. Oh, it felt like he was so used to being subterfuge that when he needed action man, I couldn't handle the interesting. Yeah, who hit a lot harder than I expected him to was Fane. I mean, I knew, but then I when we were in it and I was rolling, I was like, oh my god, this guy hits like a truck. Yeah, that was pretty funny. All monks best encounter in my opinion. All monks. Oh, you mean the ones at Oakengate, Faye? Is that what you mean? I'm curious what you mean by the all monks thing. Let's see. No, the blades. Oh, the yeah. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about there. Okay, sorry. Scrolling back up here. Show me a high level character that's not broken as hell, right? Dude, it's impossible. The game is so hard to keep balanced after you get to tier 3. Solve challenges to get to Corvin. Yeah. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going back up. The way I run my Cyberpunk Red games heavily. Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic. I love hearing that. It's so cool because I mean I'm heavily influenced by all kinds of DMs, right? Matt Mercer, of course, Brennan, Abria, DMs I've played with in the past. I love their style. Sly Flourish and his secrets framework online, the Lazy DM. I use his stuff. I use secrets all the time. It's a fantastic framework. The Voss and Flip and Scare Me. Oh, Zarel. Yeah, Zarel. Ooh, Zarel. That guy has a special place in my heart. The book being taken back. Oh, hey, Hans. I owe you a Discord message. But the book being taken back outside the monastery. Yeah, I really wanted to set Corvin up as like a guy that is not to be trifled with. He's a big BEG, right? Like he had him dead to rights, basically. It just wasn't worth the effort to, raise that place when he's just got, needed to get what he came for. So, I like that. Yeah, to get to Corvin, I mean, he's a lich, you have to respect an enemy of that caliber. They have to be difficult. They have to be hard to face. So I wanted to make sure that was felt. I've turned into a Rebecca with my recent Wild Magic Sorcerer. Awesome. Cerulean. Very happy to hear that. All right. Silver Sarah. Favorite adversaries. The one Fatal Reserve arc. I binged it all in like one weekend. Just shouting at the TV. Voss and Arc had me riveted. Yes. And they did get their vengeance, which was great. Crew teammates. Oh, yeah. That encounter. He was fighting against Mortis and, oh, God, I can't remember her name. I keep wanting to say Kira, obviously not Kira, but yeah, Flynn, that whole encounter, that was a big surprise. I did not expect that to happen at all. But I did have stat blocks for Mortis and the other one. Cause I like I said, I tend to have stat blocks for, if I introduce an NPC, I know what their stat block is. Even if I just like write a quick note, like of like they use just this plain stat block from the monster manual, or if I have like a specific one that I've assigned to them or a custom one. But I pretty much know who just about everybody's going to be. But yeah, that was gnarly. They were not built to 2v1 any of the PCs. They were built to fight in a big fight. So like when it was those two of them versus just Flynn, that was scary. I thought I was going to kill him. I mean, like when I tell you guys, I don't pull punches to like, it is actually by a miracle that Flynn didn't die when I rolled that sneak attack dice, because I was like, I could kill him outright, and I thought I was going to. I thought he was going to die outright. But like I had the dice rolls, and it was insane. And then same with Kellic with the disintegrate ray. I can't believe like I think if I remember right, on 10d6, I think I rolled 5 ones on the damage dice. I have the screenshot. It's in our Discord, because I was like, I need you guys to see this to know I'm like not joking, and I did not like pull this punch, because I thought I was going to kill Kellic. Like I really thought I was, which was insane. So the love y'all put into shows. Oh, behind the scenes, did anyone pull any pranks? And if so, who's the prankster? I mean, no, not big prankers. There's a couple, like, you know, it's just when we get to, you know, I think we're all like, I'd say Russ is probably the biggest prankster of everybody. Like, yeah, Russ is definitely the biggest prankster if there's one of us. But we don't, yeah, no pranks that I can think of. But yeah, hopefully that answers that question. We did forget that much. LOL. Yeah, mind flayers. Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, sorry, I'm debating what I want to say there. I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything, and I'm not convinced I should say something on that. So, I love Thessaly and Salix so much, especially as an older sister. That's what got me to watch Venture Forth. But Almost Whole Arc was probably one of my favorites. It's really interesting for me because I watched the Mega Harken Back that caught me up to episode 116. Yeah, old episodes. Early relationship and knowing where it goes. Yeah, I mean, I love the relationship between Olma and Kellic. It's so fascinating. Such an interesting dynamic that is between, you know, those two characters and the sort of father-daughterness of it, but then also the, like, not with Olma, you know. It's pretty wild. So, thoughts, Tengu and I, and the serious tunnel thoughts about city locations. That's funny. I've watched a few of your videos. You make some really cool changes that I'm thinking I'll bring up to a DM one day. Oh, yeah, thanks, Van. Yeah, I mean, look, I have pretty strong opinions about mechanics in the game. You know, I don't think, obviously, not all classes can be created equal. But I do, like, I want my players to know that when they choose this, like, if they choose a subclass, it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to underperform at the table. And so if I have to make adjustments to it to make sure that it's on level with the power of, you know, other players, because I want to make sure that everybody feels competent and powerful in the things that they're supposed to be good at as a character, I'm going to do it. So I have some pretty strong opinions in that regard. Like, I think that the base monk in the 2014 was really underserved. And I might have maybe tuned it up too much. But you know, I've heard a lot of people say they're really big fans of my monk reworks, and my ranger rework, which is fun. So, please take a look at them. Everything should be in the home brewery. I think all the links in the descriptions and all my videos and stuff like that. So I would love to know, like, please, I'm always interested in hearing what people's play experiences are with my classes. So, naming the combined old new gods combo group. Did you vote for Fazelas or Sleazy Laugh? Do I vote for, Phase Fellas? I think Sleazy Laugh. I think I like phase fellas. I don't know why. No, man, that's an important question. Sleazy laugh. I like sleazy laugh because it's got laugh in it. That's fun. I like that. Sleazy laugh. That's my vote. So important, not because I'm losing. I'm gonna go here. The Blade Singers. I don't even remember. Funny, me neither. More of a funny note, Cerulean. More of a funny note. I remember listening to like the first 5 episodes when you took over and went, "Wow, that sounds just like Brim." Never. That's funny. Yeah. No, they were on the mountain try time. There you go. Okay, speaking of Brim, what do you think he's doing right now? You know, considering the state of the world. Oh, Brim is hard at work. He's running around. He's doing stuff. The Order of the Everseeing just got real busy, real busy. So I think he is. He's also, you know, working on his little apprentices, making sure Zephyr is capable and doing what she needs to do. I love Brim. I love him, and I wish I could have played him a little bit longer, but was not in the cards. So, but yeah, I hope he and Seeker catch up at some point. I hope he and Oma catch up at some point. I hope he catches up with all of them. Nyla, I need the Mateo stat block stat. Nyla, that was her name. Russ was not worried. Sure, buddy. Is Nalfane gonna pop up? I sure hope so. I love that little drow boy. I love him. He's so funny. Man, that was a moment. That was a completely and utterly unplanned for moment in that as I was thinking about Nalfane and everything he had gone through, when they mentioned taking Cinnamon away, I realized, I was like, that will devastate this child, like absolutely devastate him. So that was something that I just did not plan or account for at all, when that reaction he had to Cinnamon. But it made a lot of sense because when he lost so much, and it's like this was a thing that he had gotten really attached to and that kept him safe. You know, it was a safe haven for him for days as he made his way out of the Underdark by himself. And he's definitely a little Gloomstalker Ranger. He definitely took his first level for sure. Russ the Prankster, yep. So not shocking, yep. Just pulling. Olma deserves the world, and I will stand on that. They all deserve the world. They've done a lot. Makes it to the episodes. I mean, you know, all of it for the most part. I mean, every once in a while we have a stop rule. But you know, sometimes that's just because like Munch is meowing really loud and we're like, all right, we got to put her in the room. So, yeah, almost, I mean, I'd say 99.9%. New monk rules are really interesting. In 2024, you mean, Alstro, or not? Everybody gets there. That's one of the reasons. Oh, that's super sweet, Texas Valkyrie. Thank you. That's a lovely compliment. Yeah, I try to be really conscious of, making sure that each player gets time in the spotlight, because I think that's important. I really want to make sure that, when we're in the character's backstory, that they feel like they're being, spotlighted and highlighted. Of course, all the other tables are there. It's a collaborative experience. But yeah, I like to try to make sure that, like, when we are in the moment of backstory of a character, that they feel like they're center stage. And I think that, like, and I learned that I think there's just good storytelling, right? I learned that from all kinds of different mediums and films, television shows, right? Like, I always think of, like, the television show, D&D is a television show with an ensemble cast, but every once in a while you get a solo episode, right? Like, you get an episode that is very heavily focused on one character, and it's typically about their backstory. West Wing is one of my favorite shows in the world. I love that show. And you get episodes where you really only see one character for the most part. The other characters will come in, but, like, it's very about them. CJ Craig gets, like, her own episode, and you learn about her relationship with her father and what's that like, especially with him having Alzheimer's and dementia, and how difficult that is for her, and the tear between her dedication to her duty at her job at the White House and her dad. Found it. It's right there, guys. You get episodes with just Josh Lyman, and you get episodes with just Toby Ziegler, and you get just episodes, like, I love that. So yeah. Silver, I love Brim so much. Me too. Zephyr will be amazing when she grows up. She's a pistol. I love her. I love that little tiefling. Might anyone should have a link to his Ranger rework and is willing to share. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube, Bolt, if you want to take a look. Thank you for being my writing podcast right now. I feel so enriched. Oh, you're welcome, Brooke. Anytime. Peppermint, the spider steed, Cinnamon, the queen of the waste. Yes, absolutely. Did I say Cinnamon? I don't know if I did. 2024 rewrites. Yes, those are very, very good. Tis a Steed. A moment that made me cry was when Alma saw her mom and her grandma. Y'all broke me. Yeah, I almost forgot about that in the moment. I almost forgot about that. And I wasn't sure. You know, I give the players things, but I'm never sure if they're going to use them. There was a period of time where I thought they may not get everything in the octagon, right? Because it was resource heavy to get all this stuff. But they figured it out and they got that chest out of there and then they got that horn and I was like, please fucking blow that horn. And I'm really glad they did. I'm really glad they did. It turned out well. And then I freaking almost forgot that I had planned for the two of them to come back. When and how did you start GMing? Silver, good question. Texas, I did too. I had a hard time. I mean, I cried. I know unfortunately we lost the recording, but I feel like my voice, you can tell by my voice very well that I was not okay. But yeah, that was a big moment. And I just I'm a sucker for, I have a hard time crying when I'm like sad. Like if things in my personal life that like make me sad, I'm not a big crier, but I'm a sucker for like any sort of like happy or triumphant emotional moment. Like I will fucking bawl. I bawled on the airplane home from Gen Con because I was watching Remember the Titans, which is like I love that movie because it's about brotherhood and it has a very deep message and it's it's a Disney movie, so it handles it in a Disney way and it has problems, with some, white knighting stuff and whatnot, of course, as all movies have problems, but I love that movie so much and I was weeping on the airplane. All you got to do is play the opening credits to the movie Hercules, the Disney movie Hercules, and I will cry. I will cry. If I hear Phil, Danny DeVito as Phil the Satyr, that moment where I might cry thinking about it. But there's the moment where Hercules is getting ready to leave when Thebes, the city of Thebes, is under attack near the end of the film because he's been betrayed by Meg, or so he thinks, and Phil comes back, and or Meg goes and finds Phil, and she's like, if you don't come now, he'll die. And then Phil finds Hercules when he's getting the shit kicked out of him. Hercules never goes to leave. He fights even though he loses his power, which I think is just, again, right? Like, look at me. Anyway. But when Phil comes back and he looks at Hercules, he says, and he says, giving up is for rookies. And he says, I'm ready to go the distance, kid. What about you? Fuck. See, like I can't do it. Oh God. Then he grabs him by the face and that's all he needs, I like this. I will cry like this for that. Left side, strong side. Oh man. That first moment, when Gary and Julius have that strong side and they I also played football in high school, so that brotherhood, that element of it is like so precious to me, because I have memories like that with people that aren't here anymore, and so it's a very special movie to me. Gosh, crying was not on my bingo card for this stream. Anyway, jeez. Last night, well, we all cried when that happened. Yes, we did. Bye, Faye. Bye. See you, Faye. Bye, Faye. I love that film. All I need to do is hear Enter Notes to Go the Distance. I'm ready to cry. Yeah, so the Michael Bolton version of Go the Distance was actually the mother-son dance song at my wedding. I danced with that because my mom has always believed in me, which is I'm very blessed to have that. So it was lovely. So I hear those opening trumpets and I'm like fall apart, absolutely fall apart. I'm still watching Hercules. You should. Everybody should watch Hercules. That's my favorite one. Oh, thank you, Jazzy. I appreciate that. I appreciate you very much. That's so nice of you to say. You were defensive line in high school. Yes, Texas. I was a center and I was a defensive end. Those were my two positions. That's funny. Clara Cross after that. Marinico. I so immediately had to absolutely Clara, man. What an incredible story by Rebecca, right? There's this line of just tower house women, right? Like who are so capable and brilliant and strong and who gave the ultimate sacrifice so that so that Olma could have a chance, and dedicated their lives to fighting evil in the form of Corvin Amberstone. I just thought that was such a cool thing, such a cool element of Rebecca's backstory. So it was just so God, they're amazing characters. And that is one thing, like, we got to see them in memory, but holy cow, I bet Lady Alexandra was a force of nature, when she was around. And I would just, man, what a person to meet, huh? And Clara too. That's in all of them. I mean, it's in the line, right? It's in the blood, I think. Um, like a baby. I love it until I'm the one bawling like a baby and I have to explain to what my non D&D roommates. I know, right? All of us like weeping and we're like, what the heck? Group watch along for Hercules. Oh my God. Yes, please. I would love it. Go to fanfic topic. Yeah. I mean, Cerulean, there's so much gold to mine there, right? Coco's Remember Me or the movie Encanto, Expect Me to Flip and Cry. Great movie. Encanto's a beautiful movie. One of my favorite things about Encanto, actually, on that note, right? Like one thing, my younger sister, said this to me, and Hercules means a lot to me because it was the first time as a child I saw myself in a character. And that's, I saw this young guy. I was a very big kid. I've always been a big guy, always. I was born at 11 pounds. I've always been very big. And growing up, I was very, very, like, this sounds egotistical maybe, but I was very strong. And I wanted to play with other kids, but a lot of times I would hurt other kids, not because I meant to, but because, my strength just got the best of me and I didn't know how to dial back. I just was like full tilt all the time. And I broke everything. God, my parents' friends still tell stories about all of the stuff in their houses that I broke, because I was reckless or foolhardy or not really paying attention or just kind of doing my thing. So they still tell these stories, and just seeing that as a kid, immediately I connected to it. And I was talking to my younger sister about when Encanto came out, seeing all like these compilations on my social media of like all the children reacting to, oh my God, of course I'm blanking on the protagonist's name in Encanto. But all of these little girls, particularly Latina little girls who were like, Mama, or Dad, like she looks like me. And my younger sister was like, that's why representation in media matters. And I was like, ooh, like Jesus, she got me, you know what I mean? And it's why representation in media matters, because like, if we can see ourselves in these characters, that we inhabit or that we see, right, one way or the other, it allows us to believe that we are capable of something. I think that's why I love stories. They show us what we're capable of in our best moments, and what we can be capable of in our worst moments too, and how to check that, to an extent. So I've always tried to find, things to grab onto in the characters and the stories that I read growing up. And that's why, again, representation in media is so important. So don't forget. Okay, next. Oops. I have a fun question. If you had to play campaign 2 in a campaign that was not D&D, what system would you do it? And if this is not the same answer, what's your favorite non-D&D TTRPG system? Oh man, I'm gonna be honest. I do not have a lot of experience with TTRPGs outside of D&D. Like I don't have a ton. I would probably say Pathfinder because it's similar. But I'm very interested in exploring some other TTRPGs, and that's something that hopefully we, as a podcast, knock on wood, can also hopefully. I make no promises. This is just me riffing here, but I would love to. Explore some other TTRPG systems, but I would say probably Pathfinder. I'm very interested in Starfinder. I think thematically that doesn't fit in Elbor as of now, but yeah, that would be really, really fun. And then Kobold Press just released a like D&D like system, but I would probably say, yeah, Pathfinder would be something I'd be interested in exploring. Silver, I feel like I should add to the question about how your GM origins. Oh, what other stories influence? Yeah, I never answered that question. I'm sorry. I got started because oh man, I'll try to tell this story. Well, whatever, we got time. My brother-in-law, my wife's brother, actually got me into D&D. D&D missed me growing up for the most part. I didn't get into it until like 2016, 2015. Yeah, like 2016, I think, 2015 or 2016, which is really surprising. I just never had somebody who was like, hey, you would enjoy this. But one of the things that we do with my wife's family is we play board games, and we were playing this game, and it was like it was from Wizards of the Coast. It was like a Dungeons and Dragons product. But it was like a, kind of a little table thing, linear setup. I need to turn on the air conditioning in my room. I'm starting to sweat. I don't know why, but, so what's it called? There was this, like, it was like a box set kind of, and And we played it, and it was so fun. And there was like a halfling rogue and a half orc barbarian, and there was like a lot of like traditional archetypes in D&D, and it was like the most fun I'd ever had playing a board game. And I was like, this was so much fun. Like, what is this? And my brother-in-law was like, what if I told you there was a version of this game that has more rules and way more options, and you can do almost anything? And I was like, that's a thing. And he was like, yeah, can you like, do you like RPG video games? I was like, hell yeah. He was like, imagine a video game where you can literally do anything. Like, you can just pursue whatever story you want. I was like, huh? He was like, that's Dungeons and Dragons. And I was like, can we do that then? And he ran a game for me and my other brother-in-law and my sister-in-law and her husband. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. We played Lost Mines of Phandelver, the box set, and I remember actually very specifically like a moment that I just immediately fell in love with D&D was in Lost Mines of Phandelver. Spoilers for that box starter set if you haven't played it. But there's a part where you go underneath like the manor in Phandelver, and there's like a cave down there, and there's two bridges. And I was playing a ranger, and I ran over the bridge. And I was like, I was like running around and checking things out, and I ran over the bridge, and the DM was like, how much does your character weigh? I was like, probably like 180 pounds. He was like, okay, the bridge that you're over now, like, begins to crumble and it snaps beneath you. I was like, what? And he was like, you didn't look at it. You didn't inspect it. Like, you didn't roll high, or you didn't roll high enough to see that it was a faulty bridge. So you fall. And I was like, that's amazing. Immediately, I was just like, this world is so real, and like anything can happen. And I just thought that was freaking, and then I was down in the cavern with a Nothic that's down there. And I had to like role play my way out of that scenario. And that was like the moment that it all clicked for me. And I was like, this is the best game that has ever existed. So yeah. But he lives in Arizona and I live in LA. And so I was like, I need to find a local group, that I can play with. And so I went to a comic book store and I played AL, and it was fun. And I met some awesome people there. Two of whom actually became part of my table that I've ran now for like 8 years, my like home game with some friends. I was like, well, no one was willing to run, or no one knew how to run. And I was like, well, I can do it. And I picked up the book and I started doing it, and I was really bad. And then I got better. And that's it. That's how I started to do it. My partner regular is ready for me to walk in after saying, I need a hug. Yeah. Along to Encanto without crying. Yeah. Sorry, making my way back through these. How much did Rebecca know before it was revealed during play about Alma's background? Almost nothing. Rebecca knew almost nothing. She wrote a little bit, and she like set the stage for it, right? She was like, this was the general idea, but she didn't know a lot. She laid an incredible foundation. Cerulean, I will scream. Amazing. Group watch along. I am so down for a group watch of Hercules. Amazing. Mirabelle, that is her name. Thank you. That was going to drive me nuts. Surface Pressure is my theme song. That's a great song. Me and the Pathfinder Death Saving Rules have real feelings. I bet. I've conducted, presented, and defended a chunk of research about disability representation in media. I will yap about what makes good rep all day. Marinico, I might very well reach out to you. That is an area. It's one of the things, like, as a GM, I want to do justice to things, but I don't want it to be a facsimile or be, I don't want it to be derivative or not serve the community that I'm attempting to represent. And there are certain areas where I'm a little afraid to go because I just don't know if it's my story to tell. But I do my best, and I'm sure I will make mistakes, and hopefully I won't piss off too many people. But I would love that. I try to stay educated, and try to make sure that I approach everything with the care and the honor that it deserves. But yeah, I would love to. Maybe I'll pick your brain sometime about that, to make sure I'm doing it right. So, obligatory appreciation post for the cast creating such dynamic characters that have such real and conflicts and make them relatable. And my cast is amazing. Like, I say this a lot, and like, don't get me wrong, I know and I believe that I'm a pretty solid GM, but like, being surrounded by the cast of Venture Forth, it makes me look way better than I am. Like, it is incredible how much of like the illusion of like me being good at this is created by the incredible efforts and performances of the players at that table. It is a group effort. It is an ensemble effort. I can't DM in a vacuum, and like, they are fucking amazing. So, I have to give credit where I have to just say that like I am a reflection of their brilliance in so many ways, because they're just so good. They're just so good, and they made such great characters. Almost all of the NPCs, you know, that you all really love and have attached to, were created originally by them. I just took what they gave me and tried to do it on it justice as best I could. So I agree with you there. I agree with you there, Cerulean. Almost 30 minutes in in-game death saves among a part of 3. Holy cow. Any trailer style things you can reveal about the next campaign? Totally understand if I have to find my patience. Jazzy, good question. I think I will wait because that will be you'll get it. You'll get it. Be patient. It's coming. I promise. And I think you should have a. You'll enjoy the reveal that comes. Pretty room lights, by the way. Thank you. These are my whiz lights. I can change the colors of these, so I can like move them around. They're very fun. It's very cool. I like it. So we're going with purple now. Any color requests? Me on Asian representation that gets so manhunted us off with the generic Asian. Yes. As a matter of fact, Cerulean, the other day, I wanted to try to describe, there was an NPC that I knew that in my head had, what would be considered Asian, was ethnically Asian. If that's, again, I apologize if I ever say anything that's offensive. Know that it never comes from a place of malice, only a place of ignorance. But I wanted to I was trying to figure out how to describe them, and so I referred to that amazing Tumblr blog that has now become like a whole thing, Writing with Color, and read through that to make sure that I was again doing the best I could to describe them in such a way that was good and well done and not shitty. It's something that I try to be as conscious as I can. And I recognize that, me being who I am, I have a lot of blind spots, I'm sure. So yeah. Oh my goodness, all of these calls. Arizona shout out call. Yes, my party met the Nothic and found Delver also. Yes. The true BBEG of trying to play with people not in your time zones. Jeez, yeah. That's amazing. Darn, I miss Agent already. Don't we all? This question might not make any sense. One Renegade, but I hope it works. Was there a campaign or DM that you watched that got you into D&D for the first time? Yeah, I mean, again, my brother-in-law ran a little campaign for us. He ran the box set, and I was, hooked immediately. That was it. I didn't watch, any of the major actual plays until after I'd already been playing for, I think, at least a year or two. I think I started watching Critical Role when they released Campaign 2, whenever that was. And then I caught up because they weren't many episodes in. I caught up, and then I went back and watched Campaign 1 slowly. And then I've watched some Dimension 20 and stuff like that too. But yeah, I mean, I got into it because of a friend, my brother-in-law. And so I'm very grateful to him for that. Hourly reminder, hydrate and stretch. Yes. You got some water. You too, Seth. I do have some water. I also have some wine. I didn't say that. I should take a bite. Sorry if it's gross to eat on stream. All right. Texas Valkyrie. When I was doing my undergrad, me and 4 friends presented a panel. Dude. Oh, man. Who was I talking to about this recently? Oh, guys. At Gen Con, I got to do the, Deborah Ann Wall thing with 2 people. The Uber driver who picked me up from the airport. Because he was like, what are you here for? And it led to a whole conversation. And then a bartender at one of the bars we were at. Because she was like, what are all y'all here for? And she was awesome. Her name was Rose. And I don't remember the Uber driver's name. I think it was Greg. But yeah, I got to do it with them. And they were both like, wait, that's D&D? I was like, yeah, we're playing D&D right now. We'd get dice and character sheets and you'd get to build your own character. But effectively, we're playing D&D right now. And they were both like, that's really cool. And I was like, yeah, right? It's fun. So yeah, it was great. It was awesome. I got to basically introduce 2 people to D&D. So that was lovely. I got to do it. I mean, Deborah Ann Wall. Shout out Deborah Ann Wall. What a fucking genius, right? Laying that foundation of such an easy way to get somebody into the game. Brilliant. Absolute brilliance. Love her. I thank you for the reminder, Van. Answer any questions. Awesome, Marinico. I'll definitely reach out to you. Um, hello, your neighborhood lookalike. Look, wait, neighborhood lake. Never mind, not lookalike. That is not what that says. I can read. Um, I just ran that part of Fandelver and Below. My first big campaign as DM. It's fun and terrifying. Oh my god. Also, like, this is a thing that I have to, like, I am nervous before every single session that I run. I can't eat actually on most of our recording days. Like, I have a hard time. I usually like have a very light breakfast, but then like the closer I get to recording time, I really have a hard time eating because I'm anxious. And I shouldn't say I'm anxious. I'm excited. I'm excited because I think that, like, people who have that sort of, like, those nerves, it's because you give a shit. It's because you care, and that care. I will say that, like, Russ and I had this conversation recently because I'm in Venture Forth because of Russ. Russ and I met at that. So the comic book store that I played here in LA, Russ was at a different table when I first joined, but I kept going back, and then Russ and I ended up at the same table, and that's how Russ and I met. And so Russ and I met at that table, and then he and I both got invited by another player at that table to go into a home game together. And then Russ and I got a chance to play in a home game for like 2 years. And Russ recently said, I knew I wanted you to come to Venture Forth because I don't know anybody that cares as much about I know very few people who care as much about the game as you. He said that to me, and that was a wonderful compliment. But yeah, ultimately, like, I'm kind of here because of him, because he's the one who got me involved with the clubhouse that Venture Forth had back during the pandemic, and that's how I met Shane and Rebecca and Rodney. And then, eventually when this all, and then there was we tried to get me on as a guest, I think, but scheduling just didn't quite line up. That would have been quite a while ago, actually. And then when Ethan, decided to leave, Russ threw he basically was like, and everybody was like, we know Seth, he ran our DMs Guild, we know, like, his style and his philosophy on D&D, and so they, then we had a big bunch of conversations, and the rest is history. So yeah, you never know who you'll meet at your local neighborhood comic book store. You might have some bad experiences, but try to take the good ones. All right, VF is a true representation of the sum is greater than all the parts separate. You all are great together, create magic. I agree, Alstro, and that's a very nice compliment. Thank you. I've seen myself in every single cast member in certain moments. I think that's the universality of storytelling, right? That's what makes it great. I agree. Nightbot. Oh my god, I just saw the Nightbot. That's amazing. Little late, bud. Little late. But DMs are the frames of the canvas. The players fill in the space with the colors. Agree. Wait, let the suspense build. Purple for Laurus. Vibing with the purple lights. That is my job to create the sky and my players to fill it with stars. That's amazing. That is a great friggin' saying. I'm stealing the shit out of that. I'm a ruthless thief. I've told you guys this. That is a beautiful way to phrase that. I love it. I love it a lot. I'm not sure if you've been asked this already, but are you upset about any other story you guys Are you upset about any story stuff that you guys didn't get to? Something like Seeker's Homeland. Yes. I would have loved to go see, Seeker's ancestral homeland, the Tanab ruins. But yeah, we did not get there. But, one day, hopefully. There are lots of places. Gosh, I wanted to go to Kaldur. We never made it. I wanted to go to the ruins. We never made it. I wanted to go, I wanted to go back to Oakenspire and kind of take my stab at fleshing it out a little bit more. And we didn't get a chance to do it. I wanted to go to the ice fields, and I was like, why the hell would we go there? And I was like, I don't know. So yeah, the map of Elbor, there's so much to be explored. And now, of course, for those of you who are caught up, there's even more Elbor to explore. Because Elbor ultimately, like, size-wise, is about from the western side of Elbor, like west coast off the coast of Kaldur, all the way to the east coast of the Freywood. That whole area is about the size of Australia from, like, a distance perspective. So that was, again, part of the reason why. And I did my time math and, like, figured out travel distances and all kinds of crazy stuff because I'm a weirdo, based on Ethan's describing of the world. And I realized that Elbor was relatively small from a spatial perspective. And so I wanted to add to it. So I did. Someone say wine. There you go. Love that so much for you. Yeah. It was wonderful to chat with you, Silver. Oh my gosh, amazing. I love that photo, by the way, Silver. I absolutely adored that photo. And thank you so much for tagging us in it. It was a delight to see you there. And I'm so glad you brought your dad. What a cool experience I love that. That's great. And it was such a joy to everybody who came to Gen Con. Thank you guys so much. It was like it's just insane to be a part of something that creates an impact and to have you guys here. So I just can't thank you all enough. Thanks. If you then you stopped caring. I agree. You too, Van. It was so fun to see some of you all. I heard the Russ's history and had to pause for a second in my brain to fix that. Oh, no. Yeah, Russ is not going anywhere. Art is theft, as they say. That's funny. Speaking is hard, Seth. Sometimes it is. Wait, Seth, were you able to fix the keychain on Kane the chicken? I was not. But I will. He's over here. He's in my backpack. He's actually, so I got my camera bag and all my precious. I will have you know that Kane the chicken is in my backpack with all of my, like, the most expensive things I own. He's in with my most precious possessions. So I got to find a good spot for him on my bookshelf in my room. But he is there. Out of context, that was hilarious. Kane the chicken, my most beloved. Me too, Brooke. Me too. Back to Esther Grove. Oh, man. Esther Grove, that is another place I wanted to get to. I mean, someday, I would love to run a one-shot about the fall of Esther Grove. I would love to do that. I think that would be so much fun. To tell that story. There's more Elmore, as I think some people have affectionately coined it. Elbor is that small? Yes, Mr. Blue. Elbor is, again, like I spent a lot of time like trying to figure out based on travel in the AOR in the group, like how long or how big, what's it called was, Elbor was. And that's after like a few calculations, I was like, okay, wait a minute. Based on like travel speeds and walking and blah, 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 this is how big Elbor is. So yeah, the first time Solana got into it. I love that, Alstro, that you have those ideas. I someday I'm going to sit with Mayana and we're going to really, like, because that was, again, one of the beautiful things about Dungeons & Dragons is you're able to build backwards and forwards at the same time. So that was a thing that Solana threw at me in the moment, and I was like, that 100% makes sense, absolutely. Because Kane was a bit of a square in college because he grew up in such a cloistered environment. And I think that Solana, because she's such a joy and delight, really took Kane under her wing in many ways and kind of showed him the ropes, because I think Kane was the, like, cloistered rich kid who everybody like heard a lot of rumors about, and Solana was this like very well connected, well-to-do, popular, lovely person. I don't know any of this for sure. This is just my headcanon for Solana. You know, Brooke is Mayana is the ultimate authority, but I envision, just because Solana is such a delight and she's a bard, so like I'm like, she has always been this like super popular in the best way person, and I think she just was like, just found Kane as this odd little weirdo that she took under her room. Mr. Blue thought it was like Europe sized. No, it's Australia. Yeah, from like the farthest west coast to all the way to the east coast of the Freywood. That distance is about the same as Australia. Oh, Texas. Yes, I'm so sorry. I'm so glad to hear. Well, I hope your everything is going well in that regard. I should say. I hope everything is going well. And keep, appreciate you and your fight and what you're going through. So let us know if there's any. We're always sending you good vibes. I've been thinking about you. Wonderful spot for Kane the chicken. I need the fic. I need the art of it stat. Oh man, go ahead. Would make one Alstra very, very happy. A Fall of Esther Grove would. One shot Esther Grove. I would be the happiest little lore keeper in all the lands. I can't promise it. I've just thought about it, and I think it would be fun. Well, it's like Kane said, we didn't come here to flip and knit. We got more of Elbow to explore. Yes, we do. I mean, hey, like I said, one day, right? One day. It's like legally required to know one day, for sure. Kane and Solana, one shot of silly backstory. Yes. Not me only now realizing why it was the chicken. That's okay. It took me half a second too. I was like, oh, just interview sesh on one of their first antic moments. Yep. It's even better when you think about the fact that it was crocheted, which is close enough to knitting. It really is. Oh, it's delightful. I love it. Here, actually, well, let me get it. I gotta show you guys. Oh. Sorry if you just saw my butt as I bent over to get this thing. Kane to check him. He's a little check him. It's amazing. Look at this. Look at this. It's so good. Look at his little... This thing had me dead, man. It's so good. I love him. We're going to put him right here. Just right there. Hello, buddy. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Cerulean. That made my whole day. Certainly, I've calculated the boat distance to Boworth Island. Yes. Oh, yes. I know. That's a fun one. That chicken was my pride and joy. I finished making it. I mean, I would be so sad if Seth doesn't eventually get it. Oh, I got it. It was great. I love it. God, so many new gods and the older new gods. So much bigger pantheon now. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I was like, oh. He's very cute. Love him. Me too. Me too. He's the best. He's so precious. He really is. Cerulean, your crochet antics are lovely, and I should send you the thing I saw about making crochet stay on a keychain. The chicken. And my daughter's right next to me. She screamed when she saw the chicken. Amazing. Last round of AC. Oh. Amazing. So glad to hear that, Texas. That's awesome. Yeah, that the last round. Hopefully things are going well. I don't want to pry, but just know we're thinking about you and wishing you all the strength and the best in your battles. Appreciate you. Russ wanted to see how long it would take for it to click. Yeah, it took a second. It took a second. We'll put it that way. Good. Amazing. Love that. Let's go. Let's go. Yay. Yay. Friggin' adore that for you. So happy. Congratulations. And yeah, I don't be afraid to update us in the Discord. Congratulations. Let's get some claps in the chat for Texas Valkyrie. Geez, I caught up. Falmoras. I mean, gosh, any other questions? I think I answered all of them. Did anybody have a question that didn't get answered? Trying to keep up. Clap. Clap. Rope of friendship. The rope of friendship. Okay. Man, got them all. Look at me. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Oh, yeah. I mean, tell you what, Astro and anybody else, ask away. Ask anything you want. And I'll just say, like, I can't say, or that's something I'm going to keep for myself for campaign 2 or whatever. But feel free to ask any questions that you have. I mean, Ooh, my favorite set of dice. My favorite set of dice. I have one favorite D20. Gosh, where is it? Hang on. I don't know if I have it. Up here. Is it up here? Okay. So this is my dice thingy bob. And this is my favorite set of dice. Right here. Because this is for my Blade Singer Wizard. His name is Sunny. He's a Shadar Kai. Because he's from the Shadowfell and it sucks there, all of his magic is like bright sunlight. Everything's bright, like the sun, and really pretty. He loves the color yellow. It's his favorite because it's the color of sunlight. Is it in here? This dice. This is my favorite dice. So it's a beautiful, like, just clear, very legible with gold lettering. Let me see if I can. I don't know what the close focus is on my camera. But the natural 20 says yeet, Y-E-E-T, and the natural 1 says fuck. And it makes me giggle every time I roll it. So yeah, that's my favorite dice. And it's for my Blade Singer Wizard. So let's roll it. It's been a while. And it's like nice and heavy because it's a good one. 5. Solid for a forever DM. 9. All right, I'm gonna roll. We're gonna do 2. Oh no. 12. 11. About 11 of them. Anyway, that is my absolute favorite dice, and this was my Blade Singer dice. Actually, I'm gonna keep this out. We're gonna keep him out because it's pretty. It's very pretty. But yeah, these are some dice of mine. I think my first set of dice is in here somewhere. Yeah, they're these green ones. So these green ones right here were the ones that I bought for that first ever character that I played, the Ranger, and I like those ones a lot too. All right. Yeah, it's very shiny. It's very, very shiny. Okay. Toucan's Brook, man. Okay, sorry, I'm going back. What's your favorite set of dice? How are you coming after Gen Con on it? Jeez, barely. I was exhausted. I mean, I was so tired. Still am so tired. So tired. Because yeah, I mean, Comic Con and then Gen Con and the 3 hour time difference. I don't think I got to bed before 2 a.m. any of the nights at Gen Con. Most of the time, I fell asleep between 3 and 4 in the morning. So, all right. What's your favorite set of dice? How are you recovering after the Gen Con gauntlet? I know is Fumduck on the Queen's Council. Fumduck is a member of the Queen's Council. I will answer that one. Yes, he is. He's not on the close council, but he often, sometimes, works in an advisory capacity to the Queen of Stillgate. But that's just for us in the chat. Don't put that on the wiki. All right. How are you, Brooke? How are you doing, Brooke? Campaign 2's coming next week, right? No. Not next week, but there will be. Great, Brooke. I love that. That's funny. Do you have a character sheet you are looking forward to breaking out? I do. I do have a character sheet I'm looking forward to breaking out. I don't think I can say which one it is. So, I do, but I do. So, hopefully, I mean, that answers the question. Just maybe not as in-depth as you'd like. Same. Yeah, y'all are okay. 2 cons back-to-back is a gauntlet. Yes. Colors in the light. Sorry, I'm catching up again. You guys are very active. I love it. Honestly, having cool friends really helps combat confuck. Yeah, yes, it does. Brooke, I'm not half fan. You're awesome. We got to hang out with Brooke at Gen Con a lot, and it was a delight. Brooke is also an incredible axe thrower, by the way. Just, I mean, to add it to her list of accolades: artist, axe thrower, incredible cosplayer, incredible role player. Brooke, I would never. I would never. It won't go on the wiki, I promise. Awesome. Thank you, Alstro. I'm out of questions. I'm doodling and thinking real hard about how best to simplify my animations. Amazing. Don't lie to anything. I don't know what you're talking about. I would never lie. Me? I've never lied once. Not even once. So I'm eating with my hands like a savage. Very first. Wait, what was your Florida question? What, Renegade? I missed it. First character sheet? What are you playing? Tell us about it. What's going on? Are there abilities Salix had that we didn't get to see? Telling Brooke so many Andromons live rent-free, man. When y'all coming to Florida? Oh, man, I don't know of any cons happening in Florida. But yeah, I didn't, none that I know of, but hey, you never know. Are there any big cons in Florida? Yeah, I mean, you never know. Half-Elf Rogue. Her name is Rumi Ellis. Let's go. Rumi. I love that name. Half-Elf Rogue. Do you know what subclass you're going to go? It was a warranted apology. No, Andra lives rent-free in my head. Every once in a while, I'll just go like reread Andra's journals because first of all, Brooke shared Andra's journals with the cast, and they're good God. Again, another list to add to Brooke's accolades. Incredible writer. Incredible writer. Holy cow. Like, the journal entries read like... I don't even know how to explain it. They're so good. But yeah, Andra also lives rent-free in my head. What a brilliant character concept. Destin, Fort Walton Beach area, let me know. Will do. I mean, hey, we'll make an announcement in the Discord whenever we go to a con. Everybody, we'll always tell you guys. Can't wait to get cranky. We love those journals. Yes, they're amazing. Rogue Assassin, let's go. Great subclass. I have a problem with their level 9 feature, and I think I changed it. If you look at my YouTube channel, and I have a homebrew I've done a bunch of classes and homebrewed them. The formatting may be screwed up. And let me see if I can just find it in here. See if I can just drop the link in chat real quick. Because why not? I Nokia. Homebrew class options. The formatting of this might be totally screwed up because it's been a while. Let me double check it real quick. But, oh, the formatting actually looks pretty solid. And I haven't taken a look at this in a long time, so it might be like out of date or weird. But here you guys go. You guys can take a look at some of the stuff I've reworked for 2014. This is all 2014 reworks. Okay, let me see. She's half-elf rogue assassin. Are there any Steam Stride abilities that, or any abilities that Salix had that we didn't get to? Salix has some combat maneuvers that I don't think we got to. If I remember right, I think he had a few maneuvers from the Battlemaster class that we never actually got to take a look at. But he has a stat block that may or may not change, obviously, given Captain Salix Quinn. Let's see. I'll pull up a stat block right now. Why not? So that's right. Yeah. So Salix, just I mean, so you guys know, he is a Battlemaster, and he's a Battlemaster rogue. I think he's Inquisitive or Mastermind rogue. I think most Steam Stride Wardens are Inquisitive. I think they're Inquisitive rogues. Because they're, FBI agents, effectively. So he has Accent Surge, Insightful Fighting. Yeah, Insightful Fighting is the rogue. Can we get Stat Black's character sheets for any NPCs? Maybe. I will say that won't probably won't happen anytime soon. But you never know. Again, there's some ideas getting kicked around. That's all I can really say. I think, but I would love to maybe make monsters are one of my favorite part of the game. So maybe one day I'll release a little monster folio of some of the different things. Yeah, your average Steam Stride Warden is like a CR 6 creature, I think, or something like that. Salix is higher because he's awesome. But yeah, he had Battlemaster maneuvers that I don't think I ever actually got to bust out. And so yeah, that's it. And then thanks to his arm, he has it. I mean, thanks to his mechanical arm, and how strong it is, he has advantage on athletic checks to grapple creatures that are same size as him and smaller. So he can kind of what's it called? iRobot style. If you've ever seen that movie with Will Smith where he's got the mechanical arm and it's like way stronger. So that's kind of why that was the inspiration for Salix in some ways. The nature of his injury is very similar to that of Will Smith's character in iRobot. That was like the inspiration for the nature of his injury. Let's see. Back to this. Okay, Rumi Ellis. Yes, still waiting for. I saw Florida as an ask, but also any stage. Yeah, I already answered that one. I think. Can't wait to get cranking. Yeah, I mean, dude, the Instagram reels on that whole thing are so good. Journal. I think journals for characters are a great idea, Cerulean. You should totally do that. Small head can attach this. The wardens who guarded the grove and Kellett confesses love to Thessaly, they gain levels in persuasion or charisma. That's funny. It's all spaghetti at the wall, but thank you. Amazing. Oh, I'm so excited to read it, Brooke. If I get to, I'm so freaking excited. Speaking of someone who is a Bladesinger, what is your favorite Bladesinger ability or function? Oh man, I mean Blade Song. It has to be I played probably my favorite character. I love Kane so much, but I think I think I will grow to love Kane more, and he'll probably become my favorite as I get to play him, if I get to play him more, I should say. But my boy is Sunny, who is my Shadow Archive Bladesinger wizard, and he was one level of rogue because he comes from the Shadowfell, and so he was intended to take over this position, and he was being groomed for that. And then his backstory was he was being trained as basically an assassin. So I might steal from this if I can. If I can. a DM that I had, his name's Kyle. If any of you ever were involved in the Clubhouse version of Venture Forth, like way back during the pandemic, he was the guy who ran the D&D, the DM's Guild room with me. So Kyle redid the Shadowfell, and he had it set up so that like it was still a reflection of our world, but you know, in his like the Shadowfell didn't really have like a structure that satisfied him, so he created these things called the Dreadlords. And it was kind of a reflection of the domains of Dread, but all of the Dreadlords exist in the Shadowfell, and there was this really cool thing called the Binding. Again, with Kyle's permission, I might steal all of this because it's just such good world building. So it's kind of like the Phantom Zone in Superman in a way. Like the Binding is this like cosmic force that when you get to a certain point of evil, it yanks you in, and you're still mortal, right? Like if you basically like you don't die, you don't go to hell, but then like you keep growing and you get eviler and eviler, it yeets you into the Shadowfell, and then you are bound there. And so like each of the Dreadlords was like one of the really gnarly monsters from the monster manual. So there was like a Death Tyrant and a Shadow Dragon and a Vampire Lord and like all of those really cool monsters. But Sonny, as a Shadar Kai, who was from there, he was in service to an entity called the Queen of Crows, who was kind of basically like all the bad parts of the Raven Queen, like put into a bad person. And then the Raven Queen was the goddess of like the moment of transition between death, life and death. So he kind of separated like the weird, bad, memory obsessed, crazy elements of the Raven Queen and put it into the Queen of Crows. And her army was known as the Murder Host, which I thought was a fucking awesome name. And Sonny was what is called an Umbra. And an Umbra are bound. They share a piece of the binding with the Queen. So he had like this curse kind of. But while he was like out on patrol one day, he was sent out to retrieve a memory for the Queen. And it was, yes, because of a murder of crows. Exactly. So her army was known as the Murder Host. And he went out to like retrieve a memory for the Queen in the Shadowfell. And he basically like brushed up against it, and it was a memory of the Feywild. And that was his first time experiencing something that beautiful. And it completely, he was like, I need to know what this is. So he ran away. He ran from the Shadowfell, he got chased, and he made it he found a gateway that took him to the Feywild. And then he met his best friend there, whose name was Cher, Sonny and Cher. And she was an Ancient's Paladin. And then Sonny saw Bladesong for the first time by Eladrin in the Feywild, who were doing it. And he thought it was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. And so he decided that he was going to learn how to do it. And so I just love, for mostly because of that, but I just love the thematic elements of Bladesong and just like what it does and the traditions that can be built up around it in so many ways. Really, really fun. And then I also love the Song of Defense, because I thought at first that it was a bad feature. I was like, this is not very good. And I was talking to Kyle, and he was like, this is not a mitigate. This is a don't die right now. And when it works, it's going to be awesome, I promise. And I think we were in this huge fight, and I would have gotten like one-shotted. But I used Song of Defense, and I like brought the damage down, and I was concentrating on a spell, and I was able to maintain concentration, and it was a huge moment in the fight. So I love Song of Defense. Very, very special to me because it has a lot of great memories in my head. Okay, sorry. Geez, I'm super behind now. In-character journals. A bunch of us wrote character. Yes. Could not compare to Andros. No, I mean, God. Who can, though? Ready for Harengon's Spirits Bard. Let's go. Well, good luck finding that table, Master Harlequin. That is, don't stop till you find a great table. Super fun. I'm super excited. When I was in Texas, I thought I would be able to use Rumi for a couple of one-shots. Oh, I'm sorry, but you'll get to. They were all incredible. Lie and slander. They made my day. Can we get stat block character sheets? I'd love that. Purchasable would be legit. Yeah, like I said, I think I mentioned this earlier, but maybe I'll try. I don't know for sure. That's a conversation I think we need to have with the broader team. But those waste spider things, those are not my original design. Very comfortable sharing that. Those are from the Tome of Beasts, which is Kobold Press, which I think I have right here. So those are from the Tome of Beasts. By the way, if you are not familiar with Kobold Press and you are like you don't have their monster, go get their books, their monster books. They're so good. Like in my opinion, Kobold Press makes better monsters than Wizards of the Coast does. They're just brilliantly designed, and like the artwork in here is beautiful. I juiced these up a little bit because I juice everything up, especially because, I mean, I love monsters and I like giving them crazy abilities that they wouldn't ordinarily have. But those are right here. They're called Chelicerae. So that's what they look like, if you guys can see that. So the thing hanging from their mouth is a spellcaster, which was the reason for all their stuff. So I absolutely adore the Tome of Beasts. I have this in hardcover, and then I have the Creature Codex of theirs also in hardcover. But then I have Tome of Beasts 2 and 3 in PDF form, and I've got them all ported into Roll20 so that I can pull them into the Venture Forth games. Sorry, I'm sure my audio's going out a little bit. Oh, okay. Those Waste Spider things, yeah, they're amazing. I love Kobold Press. You should definitely get their monsters if you're not familiar. Ethically Sound Slaughter, yes, God, amazing. I loved the dynamic between Brooke and Mayana, or Andra and Solana at the table. So good. The way I can quote Andra, yeah, Kane was the freaking best. Oh, I love Kane. Her and Kolkin, yes, Andra and Kolkin together the sweetest. They really did. I mean, and that's a testament to, again, I think the style, right? And of course the players, but also like it's our guidepost to Venture Forth that we want to make those types of characters. And Shane's brilliant DMing in KTU. Holy shit. Cannot say enough about it. But man, God. I mean, that's some of the best D&D I've ever played. Maybe the best, honestly. It was so good. It was so good to be at that table. And then again, just to be able to play alongside incredible players like Brooke and Mayana, and then of course Russ and Rodney. So much fun. It was, and the dynamic between all of them, such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful play experience. And hopefully I'll get to see more of them. But I think it's a testament to the style and the thing that we're committed to. I firmly believe that, all of our campaigns will be like that because, we're very committed to doing that, to maintaining that level of investment from the players who do sit at the table, which we're. I mean, at the risk of sounding a little maybe elitist, we're pretty choosy about who we bring in because it's a space that is precious to us, and means so much to us. And so, and Brooke and Mayana just, Jesus, nailed it. I mean, who better to have at the table, right? Amazing. The Gen Con, Murder of Crows, sorry, catching up. Holy cow. Super excited for the live show. 2-part question for my husband. What's your favorite monster in theory? What's your favorite monster you use? My favorite monster in theory is the Tarrasque. I've never ran one, but looking at them, they seem pretty underwhelming, honestly. I think it's my favorite monster in theory. The lore is incredible. I think they leave something to be desired mechanically, personally. What's your favorite monster I've used? Oh, man. One of the coolest fights I've ever ran was with a green dragon. With a green dragon and a warlock, like a fighter. That was one of the coolest fights I've ever ran at a table. It was amazing. Some of my favorite monsters that I like to use, I love giants. I love giants. They hit like trucks. They soak up a lot of hit points. And if you give them cool bonus action spells and abilities and stuff like that, like especially cloud giants, because they're known for like arcane fuckery, so much fun. I also love dragons. I love giving dragons spells. Love giving dragon spells. I think all dragons should have spells or some form of like unique ability to that dragon. Like I firmly believe that all dragons and all foes of actually like a certain caliber should, because they've lived so long. Like if you're fighting an adult dragon, that is a creature that has been alive for centuries. They've learned some shit. You know what I mean? Like give them weird abilities, give them unique villain and lair actions. If you don't know what villain actions are, go to Matt Colville's videos, watch them. They're amazing on villain actions, but like give them things that are really unique to them, because dragons should not be copy paste. I don't think, like in my opinion, the monster manual stat blocks, that's the template, that's the frame you start from, and then you tack on all kinds of shit, because dragons every one of them should just about feel unique, in my opinion. The Regis Gambit crew too, yeah, I loved them. God damn, I love those guys. Love them so much. I hope so, and who knows, one day I might get to hang out with a certain GM. I think his name is Seth Val. I mean, hey, hope so. If I ever make it to Florida, come find me. Tome of Beast, my beloved. Foreign and DMing so much more wild. Yeah. Okay, Cerulean, will we ever find out about the Kane monologue about I thought you were the only one and now there's you or something like that, if that's shareable. Yeah, that one is so that's just him, like that's just him talking to Ilduria. Cain is a follower of Ilduria, specifically the huntress aspect of Ilduria. In Ilduria's lore, and I think maybe some of you know this, maybe some of you don't. But Ilduria as a goddess, I like having 5 gods, right, at any given time in the pantheon, to me, because there's so many domains, and I was like, oh man, what are they all? And then nature is such a big one, right? Because it's like there's the ocean and the forest and the desert, and like there's so many manifestations and aspects to nature. And I was like, how do I make her feel good in that respect? And I eventually, I was like, she has aspects. Eldoria basically suffers from like multiple, like divine split personality disorder. I'm sorry, I shouldn't make light of that, but she really does like inhabit these different aspects and forms, right? In traditional mythology, gods and goddesses often have different aspects to them, right? That dictate different things that they do. And so Ilduria has multiple, one of which is the huntress, which of course, embodies the primal raw ferocity of the hunt and prey and predator and prey or predator drive. Her form in that is like lithe and cat-like, and that is a patron of hunters, rangers, all predators, right? In the way that Cain is ultimately a hunter. He's a vampire Oath of Watchers paladin. And so I arrived at this idea that he would worship this goddess of the hunt as he hunts for the foes that he needs to hunt for. So yeah. Love you and Shane as DMs. Anyone else playing around stepping into the chair? I would love for one day everybody at the table to step into the DM chair. There's definitely no talks in that respect. One of my like hills I'll die on is I think every player at a D&D table, whether you want to or not, should, as a requisite, DM at least a some shot. Like not a one shot, like do the starter box set. Commit to running 6 sessions where you try to pull together a cohesive story, even if it's tight and short, right? Because like being a DM makes you a better player. I will die on that hill, and I think everybody needs to do it. So I hope to get them all in there someday. But as of right now, no definitive plans that I can. Not that I can. No definitive plans. So much lore for KTU. And again, credit to Shane. Like I knew very little about what he had planned. I trust Shane so much as a storyteller and his sensibilities that I was like, I told him, I was like, here's the nature of the cycle. And I basically gave him a heads up on who the gods were before the current old gods, before Famir and the gang. And I was like, here's what I have for them. This is it. It wasn't a lot. It was just their names, their domains, and a rough description of the era, right? Which was the age of malice. And so I gave him that, and he took the rest, and he created everything, and he created Andra and that whole. It was incredible what he did with KTU. Incredible. Incredible. Shane is gritty horror, all of that. So good at it. Been one of my favorite storytellers. Oh, Brooke, you're the best. Sorry, I'm catching up. I do not like intelligence saving throws against my giants. It sucks. You just got the smile and head nod of approval from him. Is any chance there we'll see old PC characters like Shrier March return someday? Maybe. I can't say with certainty one way or the other. I think it'd be fun. One day. Well, I should say like their players. The players. Unlikely. They left the show and for their own reasons. And we wish them the best, and it was all very good. A very amicable parting, but I don't think they have any desire to come back. As far as I know. But the characters, maybe. Please check out the wiki page for Elduria. It was a lot of fun to write that one. Yes, please go check it out. Give our lore masters their flowers. Go read their articles. They're so freaking good. Oh, amazing. Thank you. Brookie Blue, I adored the whole pantheon. It was so creative and wonderful. I like filling out pantheons. Fleshing out, I should say. Creating them freaks me out. It's overwhelming. Like, God, how do I... How do I make gods? It's crazy. Big Slam, hi, hello, welcome. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, you know, I think everybody in here knows that there's more to come, so I'm excited to make them. Um, 1 year in retail. Yes, it is like that, Cerulean. Oh, 100%. I just had that conversation the other day with the Venture Forth crew. We were talking about how like every single person should work at least a year in like, yeah, retail customer service, because you just like you just get a sense of, you know, what it's like. Wrestler in the DM chair. I know Russ wants to, and I would also be down. I know he's got some ideas, so he's not Diaz guy. I'd love to see it. I just thought Shane was a talented player. I had no clue he was a DM. Yeah. Also, you guys like he's a fucking incredible DM. Like, he's incredible. Well wishes to all past players in Ethan. Absolutely, yeah. Everybody wish them nothing but the best. Shenanigans, Russ. Yeah, I would be very excited. Love reading the wiki. Any chance my brain lets me. Same here. Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, we wish everybody the best, right? I would love to see those characters come back someday. And, you know, like I said, I adore Thessaly. I wanted to make sure they got a good ending. And, you know, that they came back in a way that mattered. So that was very important to me. But yeah, any other questions, guys? Shit, I'm all caught up. Or did I answer all of them? I don't know. We're also coming up on usual time, I guess. I've been going for an hour and 50 minutes. I know I'm new and unfamiliar with the topic at hand. I'm about to get some eyes and advice on a spell I came up with. Sure. Fuck it. This is an Ask Me Anything. Throw it in here. Show me what you got. Also, oh, thanks, Jazzy. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Also, by the way, like, this isn't Ask Me Anything. If you guys have something that you, like, want to know about design-wise, or, like, how did you do this? Or like, what would you do if this came up? Like, ask away. I love game design in 5e. I like making stuff. Like the armband of Aravanth, that's a custom magic item. The wing, half the stuff that the players got at the end in the vault of the Octagon was custom made. Like, the Staff of Power was just a Staff of Power. The Staff of Power needs no improving. It's amazing. Ooh, Kellic splitting spell work. Yeah, okay. That's a good one. I do want to talk to Shane before, like, if you know, ask about maybe releasing that at some point. So the splitting spell, though, is effectively, yeah, it's a schism, right? I kind of took inspiration from the Trickery Cleric's Invoke Duplicity feature to allow this like duplicate, but obviously much higher level. It had its own hit points. They shared spell slots, though. That was basically the big thing. So it created this. It creates a duplicate. I believe it's a 7th level conjuration spell. It lasted for about an hour. But I don't want to get into super specifics. But yeah, it was. That's effectively the very high level version. I mean, I don't think I'm revealing anything that wasn't revealed in the game. They share spell slots, and they can maintain concentration on spells separately. There's some additional mechanics, but like I said, I wanna talk to Shane about releasing the full version of it, because you know I came up with it, or we came up with it together. He came up with the concept, and then I kind of really fine-tuned the mechanics, and you know we worked on it jointly together a bunch, and yeah, he's but I always like to ask players about releasing anything that's like that personal to their character. Okay. See, I thought it was casting Invoke Duplicity when he was casting it. Yeah, but no, it's a very high level spell. Great question. Oh, sorry. Gosh. Okay. How did Kellic's splitting spell favorite sum shop for a new DM? Ooh, I mean, dude, I love the starter sets. I love them. I think they're great. They're well designed. I would say there. Also, oh man, sum shot. Oh geez. There was one that I really liked, and I think Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel is a great place to start for a new DM, because it's kind of like I've read the book, I haven't ran it, but like it's really well fleshed out. It's written by a very diverse group of writers. So you have some amazing, like, you know, mythologies that inspire the stories that are in there. I think it's a great one to run for new DMs, and it also it allows you to like take big breaks between sessions. Is Udi B just an artificer, or is she also a wizard split? I know this is a pretty, yeah. Udi Bitterbite is mostly artificer. For sure. I have not decided if there's a little bit of a wizard dip in there. I haven't. I know roughly their like their level and what they're capable of. Have not fully worked out that stat block. But it's very likely there's a little dip of wizard in there somewhere. But mostly artificer. I would say like minimum 80% artificer. Gasp and appreciation was the same reaction I had with the Enterprise D was revealed. Oh, thank you guys. I'm really glad you guys like Thessaly's ending. Great question, Mari. Did I miss Mari? Oh, how to cut? Yeah, the splitting spell. Better now. Saint, thank you so much for the story of the AOR. Oh, one renegade. That's an amazing compliment. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for the journey. It's been amazing. It's been amazing to have you. Okay, Jazzy. Didn't want this one to get lost, so I'm trying to figure out how to do this when I have the bandwidth. Favorite sum shot recommendation for a new DM? Oh, yeah. I honestly, like I said, I would pick up either Journey Through the Radiant Citadel, because they're like kind of contained adventures, and then you can build in downtime. So it's not a ton of pressure. Like you can basically like run one of the modules in there, and it's just really well written. I read the whole book, and it's really well written. I would recommend that. Or I would recommend one of the starter sets. I love Lost Mines of Phandelver. I think it's great as an introduction to characters. I like the first few minutes of that, like the first few sessions of that is what made me fall in love with D&D, and it has a special place in my heart, so I love it. All right, Big Slam. Here's your thing. Alpenhall's Aegis against Aberrant Aims. Wow, level 5 abjuration, 10 minute casting time, 12 hours. Okay, or 12 hour duration. Sorry. Okay, so 10 minute casting time, 12 hour duration. Components: 25 gold pieces worth of salt, diamond dust, incense, and a flask of holy water with 25 gold pieces. Which spell consumes and a holy symbol. Wow, and a holy symbol made of cold steel with 25 gold pieces, range of touch. It's basically a combo of protection against good and evil and non-detection. Okay, I would say these personally, like first reading, I would just. This is a lot of components, like just separate ones. I would say just for like streamlining it, I would maybe put it as like 25 gold pieces worth of diamond dust and like 85 gold pieces worth of incense, salt, and holy water, and just leave it, which the spell consumes. A holy symbol made of cold steel. Personally, that's unless there's a really, really justified reason for that in your world. Again, I have so little context for this, so this is just like gut check for me, right? So please don't like. I hope you don't take this as any, whatever. It's not meant to be attacking or anything like that. But I would say that that is. It seems just kind of arbitrary. If your player has a holy symbol, that they're going to use that to cast anyway. So yeah, that just seems unnecessary to me, unless again there's a very specific reason that it exists. Keep it. Combination against protection against good and evil and non-detection. I mean, from a conceptual standpoint, that sounds good. Combining those two spells, non-detection. What level is non-detection? Non-detection 5e. Hard to target against divination magic. Don't know why that came out. Okay. Welcome to my brain, gang. Touch one. 3rd level abjuration. Yeah, 5th level sounds about good for that. So 8 hours. So this is a 12-hour duration. You hide a target from divination. Yeah, I mean, conceptually, that sounds like a great spell, right? Protection against good and evil is a fantastic spell. 1st level slot. I used that I was level 14 in a fight against an archfey, and it kept me alive. Like, that's one of those spells that like gets slept on a lot. That is an amazing spell in high level combat against fiends and undead, or fiends and like super powerful undead and archfey and shit like that. Great spell. So I would say absolutely. Conceptually sounds like a great spell. Nightbot. Non-detection like bad guys can't. Non-detection like they can't detect magic items. And to you as well. Want to meet Kane's mother? No prompt. It was just a thought. She's speaking of forces of nature. I really love Keys to the Golden Vault. That's a really fun one too. I read that as inspiration for the Gen Con or the Comic Con one shot that we just did. And stole like some inspiration from it. I'm out. One renegade is out. Bye, nerd. See you later. So interesting. But non-detection is a spell that blocks divination spells and scrying. Yeah. All right, Mr. Blue, this is a long one. Okay. Might as well, since this has been bugging my mind for a while now. I ran Cyberpunk Red one-shots for my friends between. Now those one-shots are snowballing into a full campaign. The BBG was a rogue disembodied AI, and now I kind of need to fudge a way for them to harm it. I'm conflicted on if I should handle it like Marvel did with Age of Ultron or something else. Any tips? Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. Bugging my friend for a while now. I ran Cyberpunk Red one-shots for my friends. Rogue disembodied AI. fudge a way for them to harm it. Absolutely, dude. I mean, like, what are AIs but a collection of server banks? Like, I think tie it to a few different locations that maybe move around. Like, I think that conceptually that sounds so good. As far as like, that sounds really fun. That, you know, depending on how high level they are, you can make it easier or harder to track. Yeah, I would absolutely, like, that sounds amazing as a concept. Absolutely love it. Freaking great. I might steal that from you. It's so good. I think like using it, like, cause I mean, if I remember right, in Age of Ultron, they had to kill all of the copies, like all of the Ultrons. It was like basically like a rogue AI is, if you destroy all the servers that it lives in, you can destroy it. So, yeah, absolutely. I think that's really, really cool. And you should 1000% do that. It's a great idea. As far as tips go, I mean, I would just design it according to your player character's level. Conceptually, this is literally just me like off the dome, so take it or leave it. Depending on what level they are, I think like it would be really cool to maybe take something like an animated armor or like a golem of some kind, reskin it. An AI to me feels like it would have electronic like EMP like abilities, maybe to like kill other things. An anti-magic field sounds like something that would do, honestly, like maybe a cone, like a limited cone, like a beholder. Take some inspiration from that, because like an AI would be like, I'm tech, I need to be protected against magic because it can hurt me. So it would have like maybe a limited anti-magic cone like ability that could like recharge. Maybe it lasts for a round or something like that. I think like maybe it should have some sort of protective core. Like you have to get it down to a hit point threshold before you can actually harm the core. That's like a, you know, maybe some sort of crystal or geode or something like that stores its, you know, AI-ness. Those are just some ideas that came off the top of my head that would make a lot of fun. That seems like they would make a lot of sense. Oh, I love running Cyberpunk. My favorite thing to do with intelligent machines is steal the party towards outsmarting them. Yes. Think itself, that might be a way for them to break it down. Yup. Challenges that force the table to put their heads together and creatively use. Yes. Agreed. Agreed on all counts. The Lady Harmina Salius. Yes, she is something different. Brookie Blue, good night, nerds. Good night. Good night. Have a good, not long rest. Is there anything that inspired the Downpier lineage for Kane, or was it just cool? Yes. Oh, man. I'm trying to remember exactly what inspired it. Okay. This is going to be a deep cut. I created an NPC in my home game that was... Oh, cool. Okay. Sorry, I've just looked over. Big Slam, saw your thing. If that's a pun, I mean, here's the thing. If that's going to be significant and like it actually like makes it work, then yeah, I mean, I guess the question that I would have, and again, please don't take this as trying to be contrarian, but if protection from evil and good works on all kinds of monsters, so like why Fae? You know what I mean? Why just Fae? Like fiends are, salt. I get it. Now I get it. Salt, holy water for Yep. Okay. That's cool. That's really cool. Man. I would honestly lump it all into, because like if it's not like mechanically significant and it's just to get if it's more of a flavor thing, I would make it like 75 gold, 100 gold pieces worth of all of these things. Or like 10 gold pieces worth of each of cold steel, blah, 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 all of those components. So yeah, that's awesome. I like now I get it. Now I get all as I was talking about it, I got it. Anyway, sorry, I'm all over the place right here. Cerulean, is there anything inspired of the damn pure? That's right. That's where we were. I've been told for a very long time, Kayn is my first like paladin I've played in I've played like a paladin or two in a one shot before, but I've never like really gotten into a character, and I've been told for a very long time that I should play a paladin, but for some reason I wanted to wait because I felt like it would be a character that I really loved, and I wanted to wait until I had the right campaign to do it. And I was looking at Oath of Watchers, and I just like the flavor's so fucking cool. I love Oath of Watchers. It might be my favorite. I think it is my favorite paladin oath from a flavor perspective. It's not mechanically the strongest, I don't think, but it's really cool. So as I was looking, I was like, these are paladins who like are monster hunters, and then I came up with this idea of like, what if it was a monster who was hunting the monsters, right? And you know, so I was kind of tossing around a few ideas as far as like, well, maybe I play like a shifter, like a lycanthrope kind of thing. But I love vampires, and in a campaign that I ran, I was talking to this earlier. I had an NPC that I created based on a stat block in a book called The Book of Beautiful Horrors. For those of you who are Witcher fans, I highly recommend. It is a source book that took all of the Witcher monsters and turned them into D&D monsters. Fucking fantastic. I think you can find it on DM's Guild. It's not that expensive. It's amazing. And I'm not about to gatekeep other people's beautiful creations, but it's called The Book of Beautiful Horrors. You should 100% get it if you're into The Witcher, and just if you're into like spooky monsters in general. I mean, the name is The Book of Beautiful Horrors. And there's a vampire stat block in there. It's pretty cracked. And I loved the concept of one of them, particularly something called the Blood Caller. And I created this like very elite vampire that was like a power broker and lived in human society, but just like managed to hide their identity. And I was like, what if like a vampire, if I had this Dampier that I played, but he wasn't like a, you know, outcast. He was like a member of society in a big way. And his house was just very secretive, and there were maybe some weird rumors about them, but no one could confirm or deny, and blah, blah, blah. And I just love the idea that vampires are not these like lonely thing. And you know, the Volturi from the Twilight series was an inspiration for it. I was like, what if there are vampires who like aren't, you know, recluses hiding in like broken down manors, or, you know, in forgotten corners of the Shadowfell like Strahd, but what if instead they're super powerful and they walk among us, and they, you know, have people that serve them, and, you know, they, because they're old, they've accumulated tremendous wealth and influence, and then it all came from there. And then I was like, that's cool. And it all stemmed from that kind of basic idea of like, what if I played a Dampier that was a member of not just society, but like an elite member of society. And that's where the idea came from. So yeah, okay, sorry, keep going here. That wall walk was so sick, so slick. Yeah, Van Helsing was my. There's a very specific scene in the Van Helsing movie, which is a great bad movie. It's a great bad movie. I love great bad movies, right? Like they're never going to win awards. They get shit on a lot, but they're entertaining, right? I love to just be entertained. And there's a scene where he's walking along the floor, and then he just like steps onto the wall and walks up, and that's kind of what inspired that moment. Okay, no, it felt like Seth was waiting for a moment like that. Yes, I was hoping it might come up. I just had no idea, of course. But Brooke, I think you're neat, and I think Andra's neat. Me looking at my long list of paladins I'm waiting to play, right? I'm constantly stealing lessons I've learned from any other TPRPGs to improve my GMing. Is there anything you've learned from another system that stuck with you as a GM? Marinico, that's a great question. Like I said, have not spent a ton of time in other systems, which I regret, and I feel like I would be a much better. It's a blind spot for me. Thalnora's art inspo is in that monster book, and Thalnora, well, anyway, that's all I'll say about that. If you read that book, they might unlock a little bit more about Thalnora for those interested. Paladin main, love paladins, they're great. My longest running character I'm playing is a paladin, Warren Windwillow, awesome. Half elf, Oath of Ancients, such a good oath, who is also a great old one, warlock. Whoa, Osiris, that's awesome. Fucking love that. I think my brain made it a vampire movie, but it might be Labyrinth. Oh yeah, he does that too. He walks along ceilings and shit. David Bowie, rip. Gods, I really want to meet Harmina say this. Me too. Twilight inspo for Kane was not on my bingo card, but I'm not mad about it. Yeah. Also great bad movies. Making a note. Shit. Making a note to remind Shane about his time message from Nightbot. I know, funny. Gods, I really want to. Yep. Okay, read that. Time message from Nightbot. I know exactly what moment in Van Helsing you were thinking of. Yes, that's a fun bad movie. So glad it was Van Helsing. What a great bad fantasy film from the early 2000s. Indeed. Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale, and whoever the fuck plays Dracula. All right, gang. Well, it's 9:05. We've been going for 2 hours. So I guess what I'm going to say is, like, any other questions, last minute things that you guys, thought of? Oh, Big Slam. Nice. Sorry, I just realized that was you who said that. Let me know if there's anything else you want to know about your spell. It sounds like a really cool spell. I love the thing of it. Like the now that I was like, oh, salt, holy water, incense. Like, there's other components in there too. Got an Oath of Vengeance Paladin as my character. Nice. Watch along for Hercules. Someone remember this, right? Someday we will do it. Someday. Absolutely. Like I said, I'll take a couple more if you guys want, but if there's no more, I can sign off for the evening. I'll give it a couple minutes. Thank you, Jazzy. Yeah. Failed redemption, turn vengeance. Nice. I love that. Thank you, Jazzy. Thank you, Silver. Adore you guys too. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. There's a lot more people in here than I expected, which is kind of wild. I was like thinking there'd be just like me and the lore masters. All right, Brooke. Fine. You guys are all the best. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in here. I appreciate all of you. Can we get you to stream like this again? Sure. Yeah. I mean, no reason why not. I'd be happy to jump on. Maybe we'll add it in as an occasional rotation. I know like normally we do the harken backs, and so maybe occasionally I'll talk to Shane about it. I don't know. It seems like I'm in charge because I'm the GM, but ultimately I always, I defer to Shane and Rebecca and Russ on scheduling and everything else. So, but yeah, I mean, I can ask them, see what they think. If you guys, if that would be something you would be into, amazing. It'd be super fun. This has been a blast. I'm having a great time. So I do just go where I'm told. Yes, Shane's gaming nights are great, and it would be fun for both of us to get on here. Actually, I mean, yeah, Shane and I, we've had some conversations about us doing, the two of us in particular doing maybe some additional fun content. I hope, hopefully I can say that, but it's still very rough. Like it's just concepts and an idea right now, but maybe for on Harken Back nights in the future, Shane and I can jump on here and just kind of wax on whatever and do these DM AMAs. Where you guys can send us your stuff and get feedback or whatever. So, all right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and, with that, I will probably go ahead and sign off. No worries. Go. I'm glad you, women's tag team wrestling match. That sounds awesome. That sounds way more entertaining than this, actually. But we are actually signing off, Texas Valkyrie. Thank you so much to all of you for your questions. I adore you all, and have a lovely night. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the stream off now. So, goodbye. May the light reflect from your eyes. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye.